Authors and distinguished guests of various universities. We would like to thank them and welcome them for attending despite our busy schedule. Bayanihan Party List for attending, sir. Thank you very much for joining us physically. Our primary agenda is to conduct an initial deliberation on the 26 measures pertaining to the establishment of evacuation centers. This is one of the priority measures of the Honorable Speaker, Ferdinand Martin Romualdez. A similar measure was also approved on third reading during the previous Congress. Has prepared a numbered substitute bill, same version, which was actually approved on third and final reading during this Congress, in Indian Congress, and these are House Bill 1091, 2542, 277, 2943, 3047, 3466, 3498, 3774, 3778, 4145, 4381, 5109, 5152, 5211, 5185, 5758, 5856, and 5906. In this regard, we will be discussing the position papers submitted and the summary of comments provided by the concerned agencies. Let it be on record that as of now, only the Department of Science and Technology, or the DOST, and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources have provided their inputs. I encourage and enjoy my colleagues and all resource persons who are in attendance today to actively participate in our discussion. So thank you very much again for coming. Secretary, we acknowledge the individual representatives of each of these agencies for attendance today. Can you change that by a vote? Hello.
With the indulgence of the chair, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the following resource persons. From the Department of Science and Technology, Dr. Federico Bacanpol, Ms. Magdalene Pahulugan, Supervising Science Research Fellow, and Ms. Telma Cinco, Chief Climatology and Agrometeorology Division of Madagascar. From the Department of Public Works and Highways, Dr. Melvin Navarro, and Engineer Maria Dolores Ortiz, and Guidance Master Froilan Mabini. From the Department of Budget and Management, Mr. Valentino Andrew, Person Ellie Maguyan, and Mr. John J. Left end, the floor, Renee Dapo, and Mr. Jose Gabriel Medel. From the Department of Interior and Local Government, Authority.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming and for joining us today. So,
from OTB, April Rivera, and from PSWD, Freddie, Santa Ines, Sterling, and from DNR, Mr. Alvin Ferdinand.
Okay, thank you again. Thank you very much for coming. So essentially what we will be deliberating today are 26 matters. Same and related. Same subject matter. This is essentially for requesting the establishment of evacuation centers. So we will proceed with the deliberation on House Bill number 16. House Bill number 16 is authored by our very own speaker, Honorable Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez, and also Representative Vieda Marie Romualdez and Representative Chu A. Asidre. Congressman Lores, would you like to? Yes.
Yes, on behalf of, on behalf of, on behalf of, the speaker, Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, Representative Vieda Marie Romualdez, to take CJ. Cannot attend today. I would like to make a motion that that the HB 16, that the explanatory message of this bill may form part of the sponsorship message of the congressman mentioned.
So before we act on the motion of Representative Gordos, I know we have just dispensed with the roll call. But as a matter of courtesy, we will first acknowledge the members of the committee who are joining or online. Representative Teodorico Haresco Jr. Of the second district of Aklan. Representative Franz L. Castro of ACT Teachers Party List. Representative Ivan Howard Quinto of the Pinuno Party List. Representative Keith Mika, Attorney Mike D. L. Tan of the fourth district of Quezon. Representative Jervil Luistro of the second district of Batangas. Representative Michael L. Romero, PhD of the One Pacman Party List. Representative Eleanor Ulot Beltang of the Long District of Cacayao, and Representative Lianda Bulilia of the fourth district of Batangas. There was a motion earlier to adopt the explanatory note on House Bill number 16 as the sponsorship speech of the authors. Any objection? Any second? It's been seconded. So the motion is approved. So may we ask our resource persons to, if they have comments on House Bill number 16 before we proceed to another bill. Ready now, ba? Yes, we can begin with we can start with Public Works. Yes, Director Navarro. So you recognize, please proceed.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, we have only some few comments. We are late in submission of our position paper. Very less I would like to discuss.
Yes, would you like to, yes, please give us the general view of the department of your department regarding hospital number 16. If you have prepared, we have a statement there, or we can submit that.
Yes, sir.
Proceed to the Director Navarro.
First in our comment, Just a comment, in section, three, which, snake, yeah, as, the one that determine the location of, the public tender. We suggested, in coordination with the NGOs, he suggested that, the DNR will provide the list of suitable locations based on the criteria enumerated in the proposed house. And the LGU will select from the list of those are the provided list of that DNR. Because they then identify if you will identify the list given by the DNR, the location. Because in our guidelines there, we always spoke about the name of the LGU. Although there is a certification of the from DNR, the LGU, that will state that the location is a buildable area. But we give a very good this responsibility to the to endorse the location. So and right now, already encountering some difficulties. We have some fundings, but you cannot download the funds because there is no connection of locations for anything.
Essentially, you're not proposing objection.
Yes, 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 I do it.
Maybe for the expenditure time also, about yes, what's your position? Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
And also second,
Yeah, please.
One of our major comment also is that in section A, it is main mentioned here the initial implementation of construction and maintenance of the multi-purpose use to serve as a evacuation that shall be guarded against of the BPW. And our comment is when we turn over the project ready to the local government participation, the local government will already assume maintenance. We only fund as of now, we only fund the construction. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So, ALG, may we hear from the representative of the attorney and Ralph?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair,
Oh, yeah, please proceed.
and to the members of the subcommittee, and to the under resource person, good afternoon, all. Sir, first of all, sir, our position paper is already pending approval, but initially, sir, we are fully supportive of the legislative measures, considering that we substitute housing provides, particularly in section 2, that existing structures that would meet the requirement, that would meet the minimum requirements will be upgraded to be designated as such. Which recognizes the fact that most NGOs already have evacuation centers, and they not at par with the standards required here, but it would be upgraded as it would be more cost efficient and decrease the procurement process. Notwithstanding, Mr. Chair, considering also that this measure would involve additional funding, we recommend to solicit the comments of the DB and regarding the feasibility of such. And as to the other matters, Mr. Chair, we defer to the comments of the other government agencies with a mandate and technical expertise on the matter. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a position paper ready.
It's already pending approval from
Okay.
thank you.
You should submit your position paper as soon as it's already solved, as soon as it's approved, okay?
We will do answer there.
Thank you very much. From USD, may we hear from the representatives, any from the deals?
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, sir. The USP supports, the House bill pertaining to the establishment of, evaluation center. As to the, House bill number 16.
Can you speak closer to the microphone? Yes, thank you.
Apologies. So as to the House bill number 16, section 3, number 4, states here that it must be located geotechnically safe on geotechnically stable land to avoid risk of landslides or exposure to potential landslide of adjacent land. But there is no mention here about its proximity to active volcanoes or active volcanoes. Or I think it should also be mentioned here that the chosen area should be safe from other hazards, not just on landslides.
So you interject no objection other than what you have.
Yeah, I hope that this can be added also.
Okay. Sir, do you speak for the group, for the entire group, because you have several representatives for the USD? Do you speak as one?
Sir, I'm just
You from people?
quoting the USC Secretary.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Representative Goles.
may I ask a question to, this question is directed to Dr. Teresito.
Yes, please.
Yes. Since you mentioned that, that the evacuation centers was be placed or exceptions to the construction of the evacuation centers would be areas which does not relate or is not within reach of a hazard. Do we have a place in the Philippines that that actually does would not have any hazards at all?
For example, it should be like, we can say that it should not be located very close or on top of an active fault. Because we're not supposed to be constructing building on top of an active fault.
Okay, so we should be using the word or in the statement and not and.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, your direction.
that's it.
Okay. So can you submit to us your position paper? You're from Philbox, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just send to us your position paper. Maano namin. So may we call on Dr. Mahar Nagmay? She's online.
Yeah.
Mahar
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay, please proceed. What's your thoughts on HB 16?
Yes, sir. Can I be allowed to present for 3 to 5 minutes just to show learnings from previous evacuation centers, if I may?
Take you 5 minutes maximum, sir.
Yes, sir. Mabilis lang.
Okay, proceed.
Sir, yeah, this is about citing the safest evacuation centers in the community. We have to learn our lessons from the past. During Yolanda in Tacloban, for example, 70% of evacuation centers in Tacloban were hit by storm surges. And the reason for that is because the left map that was provided in Tacloban prior to Yolanda underestimated the storm surges. That is, these are maps based on largely anecdotal accounts and expert opinion. What we needed are probabilistic hazard maps, maps that show hazards that are small storm surges, moderate, bigger ones, and Yolanda na storm surges. So I would like to reiterate na kailangan, sir, ng probabilistic risk assessment. And then we had the evacuation center in Pablo, New Bataan, actually Barangay Andap in Compostela Valley during Typhoon Pablo in 2012. That was overwhelmed by debris flows, and 566 people died in the evacuation center. They were put there in Barangay Andap, which was the most dangerous place But if we did the simulations, we could have easily seen that. Maps that were provided to them were only up to the historical record, which showed that they were low susceptibility to landslides. And then we had the DPWH engineering office that was overwhelmed by a landslide. That is the headquarters of DPWH in the Mountain Province. But it was placed in a very, very unsafe place. Maybe nearby, those depicted in stars are those places which are the safest. Of course, it's a mountainous area. Going back to the question of Representative Goles, there are still places, if we combine the disastrous areas, the hazard areas, some places in a barangay or a municipality that are safer than other places. We provide them with maps like this, but we need maps that not only depict the hazards, but also the safest places in the community. Because of the DPWH disaster in Natoni in Mountain Province, Secretary Villar issued a memorandum that there be additional guidelines for hazard maps that project probabilistic hazards, different scenarios for a particular hazard. And lastly, for this one, the what happened in Cusiong in Maguindanao, that is a debris flow which is actually very similar to what happened in Barangay Andap in Compostela Valley. You see the rocks, you see the debris. We looked at it, and that is the area of Cusiong, which was overwhelmed by the landslide debris flow. We looked at the satellite images in Cusiong, Maguindanao, and we see that debris flows happened in that area. You see that area where that green point, that arrow is pointing. Those are the debris flows that overwhelmed the. I think this is a settlement area, a new settlement area, maybe used for evacuation. I'm not sure about that. Sketchy pa yung reports, but it was overwhelmed by debris flows. We can simulate that. These simulations show the debris flow areas in alluvial fans, and we can compare that with the satellite imagery of actually what happened during the time of Paeng. I was talking about probabilistic hazard maps. This is recommended by the UN ISDR in their document called as Words into Action, as an offshoot of the Sendai framework. You can read about probabilistic hazard maps in risk assessment. It's all written there. And then there is also a provision in the 2017-2022 citing the unavailability of appropriately scaled probabilistic multi-hazard maps. And the strategy was to develop and maintain these probabilistic hazard maps. It's also in the Climate Change Resolution 2019-001, reiterating the need for probabilistic climate risk assessment. In citing evacuation centers, we need also to consider the adverse impacts of climate change, which are worsened floods, more frequent floods, worsened landslide, bigger storm surges, etc. These are in the policies. So just to make it simple, this is one single scenario map as opposed to probabilistic hazard maps with climate change, showing the different types of floods that we expect in the future because of global warming. That is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes, please proceed.
Since the different government agencies are here related to weather prediction or geohazard maps or mapping, which agency would be considered as a central depository of all these hazard maps? Because PAGASA would have for the weather, and FIBOX would be for the fault lines.
The repository, sir, is with DAMRIA, I believe. But the mandated agencies are the ones who construct them. In 2012 and up to 2014, after Yolanda, there was a joint memorandum agreement that the maps produced by NOAA be considered with along with the other maps for landslides, storm surges, and what do you call this? And floods.
Yes, the reason why I asked the question, Mr. Chair, is the LGU must not just identify, it must be validated by a certain authority who would say that, okay, what you have just pinpointed would fit the criteria. So it's not just going to be a decision out from a whim, but backed up by an objective result of a finding coming from a central agency. Who can be that central agency so that we can put that clause in the bill?
Yes, yes.
We've already, there's already a multi-agency initiative and a database system for all the information that have been peer reviewed by the different mandated government agencies. And we have the GRIS Philippines database to do that. And as a front-end application, we have the Hazard Hunter Philippines, which we have already launched as early as 2019. And these platforms are a result of the different mapping initiatives through the years of the different government agencies.
Mr. Chair, again, I would like to ask, who would that sole
People.
agency be?
Yeah.
Feebox.
But what you just mentioned are private, are groups, working in the private,
No,
sector, or are you mentioning about agencies that are already
agencies,
that set an effort in mapping
yes.
ano yung mga hazard
Yes. Quick and volcanic related hazards, we have the DOSDP bots. And we already have put all our data related to hazards assessment in that platform. We also have the data from the Mines and Geosciences Bureau for floods and rain-induced landslides. We also have the data from the PAGASA for the severe wind hazards as well as storm surge hazards. And we are having, we also have other information like exposure or location information from different government agencies, including DPWH, DepEd, and DOH. So,
Mr. Chair, is it safe to assume that Feebox is going to be the last, would have the last say on the site of the evacuation center? So
this,
DPWH will not push through with the implementation or the construction of these evacuation centers unless Feebox have given a go signal. Yeah, is that correct, Mr. Chair?
Well, yes, so in addition to that question, I think it is essential that the LGU cannot just simply decide, which site are they going to construct the evacuation centers. Do you have like a comprehensive, like a study or mapping, that already has been presented to the LG? Get the DLG, and do you have like a guideline so that our LGUs on the ground will also be guided exactly which locations within their area is more safe to relocate or to put up evacuation centers?
sir, if I may, the hazards information and hazard maps in the database system are all verified or validated already by the mandated government agency. So not just the maps are being shared, but also the calculation. So nandun na po yung mga equations on the assessments. And also the recommendations and explanation from the government agencies are already presented in the in those results po. So
going back to the question ni Tony, which agency actually has, sinong,
sabi ko yung host yung database system.
To ask people if they have the capacity to receive thousands and thousands of evacuation center sites. And therefore, the capacity to check on these sites, if these are, this can already be okay for the construction of these evacuation centers for the DPWH to be guided.
Yes, because we are using technology po in the assessment. So what we have, Since we already have all the data and all the equations in the platform, then we can just run assessment and be able to perform suitability models or suitability analysis for different facilities.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I hope that it will be put in the recommendation of the DPWH that prior to the actual construction of the evacuation centers, that these areas must be verified first and must be given a go signal by the PBOX using the technology that they have. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that input, Congressman Tony. I think it's really important, no, na hindi lang kung saan. I think the LGU, once they also determines and then decides on which site within their area will put up the evacuation center, should pass the criteria, no? So na hindi siya safe talaga conducive to construct the evacuation centers. Do you have further questions? Okay. So, thank you again, PBOX and sorry ma'am, saan pong department po kayo?
The USDP was.
PBOX. Before we proceed to the next agency, may I just acknowledge handsome, the most handsome tayo. Pero no, he's really the most handsome member of the 19th Congress, Representative Richard Gomez of the 4th District of Leyte, Wisdom Land. Sir, thank you very much for joining us.
He's just a good looking. You are a better looking.
Dito preparedness to. Anyway, let's proceed. Okay, from DepEd. Sino po? Okay. From DepEd, Director Ronil Daco. Ma'am?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. DepEd welcomes actually House Bill number 16 and all the other House bills, no? We have reviewed 22 after the 26 which I've mentioned. In fact, they're almost all the same, no? With a few, we have 4 na meron lang medyo ilan na iba, no? And therefore, the recommendation in fact is to consolidate, no? The different bills into one. Having said that, we welcome the proposal because in many cases, schools are used as evacuation centers. Even then, the RA 10821 actually stipulates that schools should be used as the last resort. No? Sa data po namin, no, 2016 to 2021, no, 2022, marami kaming mga eskwelahan, more than 2,000 no, in various regions in the country ay nagamit na evacuation centers at yung paggamit ay from 1 day to 100, more than 100 days, no? Yung paggamit. So we appreciate this effort from Congress in fact. Having said that, we will provide you our written copy of our position. It just have the position paper would have to be approved by our principals, of course, but we do have our position on this matter. Having said that, also within the different House bills, we commend also the fact that meron po silang mga criteria in terms of location, in terms of structural integrity, as well as yung mga amenities na kasama. Okay, we would like to reiterate also what USCP box have already indicated that in terms of location, that we should look at multi-hazards as consideration po sa pagtatayuan. And given the fact yung tanong din kanina na kung saan ang mga hazards ay hindi totally paniniwasan, no? We propose the construction of a fully equipped disaster resilient, no? That means that there should be prevention and mitigation measures in the construction in itself. There could be also upgrading of existing, evacuation centers, but they should actually be fully equipped with disaster resilient structures. Also, we would like to suggest to the body that a database should actually be established also for existing dedicated evacuation centers already. At what are not yet nasa mga across the 146 cities and 1,488 municipalities. The database should indicate exact locations as well as housing capacity and available amenities so that we know ang conditions din naman ito at yung pangangailangan na pag-upgrade ng DPWH kung sila po ang in charge. Aside from the construction of something that's fully equipped and disaster resilient. Having said that as well, we would like to propose kasi dahil po education sector ang aming kinabibilangan, yung importansya ng pag-establish sa mga amenities, gusto na namin pong dagdag, yung pagkakaroon ng available child-friendly spaces. No? The Honorable Congressman Richard Gomez actually comes close into his suggestion ng trauma trauma facilities. We would rather state that as child-friendly spaces where children, may have the available spaces for psychological first aid or mental health and psychosocial support services through play and other means. So that's where we would like to add to the different House bills, Mr. Chair. We will provide you a copy of our position paper po. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat po, ma'am. This will actually unburden the DepEd, from opening up their schools in their education as temporary evacuation centers. Thank you very much po. We will expect your position paper on this as soon as possible time. Before we proceed to the next agency, Director Lagmay expressing his hand. Director, would you like to share some of your thoughts? Director Lagmay? Baka ano siya. So we proceed, we will get back to Director Lagmay. So we proceed. From the SWD, Ms. Rizalin Santa Ines.
Yes po, good afternoon, Mr. Chair. The DSWD, yeah, I'm online po, sir.
Okay,
Good
please proceed, ma'am.
Yes po, from the DSWD, we support po yung pong House Bill number 16 and kasabay po nung iba pong House bills na recognizing po yung to establish an permanent and safe evacuation centers po. And for us din na mabawasan po yung pong paggamit ng mga schools and other public na mga buildings po for the safety din po ng ating mga IDPs po. So we have already submitted po our position paper last November 8, 2022. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, ma'am. Expect po namin, ma'am, yung position paper ninyo.
Yes, sir. Nasubmit na po namin last November 8 po, sir. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you very much po. So, from DNRs, Mr. Alvin Fernando.
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm online.
Yes, proceed po, mga sir.
So for our comments and inputs regarding all the House bills, we have submitted this last
Yes.
26 October.
Okay, yes, sir. We are in receipt of your position paper, so we will just proceed to the next
Thank you, sir.
agency. Thank you very much for joining, nonetheless. So, sunod po si okay, so we have already discussed and we have already received the positions on various agencies now into this committee hearing on House Bill HB 16. So should we proceed? Yeah, members who are online, do you have concerns or would you like to ask any of our guests here before we approve House Bill number 16? Yeah.
If there are no questions from the other congressmen, may I move that House Bill 16 be
So
Mr. Chair, Franz Castro.
yes,
Point of inquiry lang po.
Hi, Ma'am Francis, please proceed po.
Yeah,
Yes,
point of
please,
inquiry
ma'am.
lang po, Mr. Chair, kasi meron din po akong bill. So, do we mean that the bill that we are going to approve today, yung House Bill number 60 po. So, yun na po yung ating magiging major bill po. Consolidated na po ba yung bill namin, natin? Yeah, yung mga other members?
Yes, actually ma'am, that's the direction that we would like to take. Kasi pare-pareho naman po yung subject matter and intention ng lahat ng batas na to. So, sa parliamentary lang na process natin is we just take up one, House Bill number 16, and then later on, perhaps we can, somebody should put that into formal motion that we would consolidate all 26 bills. Kasi we will come up with one bill naman po na ipapresent po natin sa plenary sa committee reports. Of course, your bill will be included as one of the bills that will be consolidated. Ma'am, so sa ngayon po, House Bill number 16, na po muna
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. So, inisip ko lang po kasi meron kasing mga ibang akong sa bill po namin ng Makabayan Block, may mga ibang provision po na iba doon sa bill ng number 60. So, ano pong ibig sabihin nun, Mr. Chair? Kasi hindi pa natin nakita ngayon yung, at this point, yung consolidated substitute bill. So, what will happen, Mr. Chair?
We will, we will consolidate, meaning to say we will reconcile if there are differences, conflicting provisions in all of the 26 bills. And then the committee would then decide kung kasi may amendment na po ang gagawin natin in the process of full consolidation. So hopefully we can actually yung specific peculiarity po doon sa batas ninyo, we will hope that we can carry that into the substitute bill po. Kasi kung consolidate, i-amin naman po natin, i-reconcile po natin into one bill.
So Mr. Chair, wala na pong TWG. So hindi na po tayo magpo-form ng TWG. Just the substitute.
That would further delay po of the process, but that would depend on the committee. But I would suggest that we just simply we would simply consolidate all these 26 bills. Dahil nga po, napasa naman po ito nung previous assembly or the third reading is just that it was overtaken by time. So this are just mere refining of the same bill that were bills that were approved on third and final reading in the previous Congress.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So if ever there will be some amendments on my part, so I will be just discussing that in the plenary.
Yes, we can do that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair, for the clarification.
Thank you for Ma'am Franz. Mr. Chair, I would like to make a yes, Tony. Before I proceed with the approval of House Bill 16, we would like to hear from DBM, Department of Budget and Management. Is still Mr. Valentino Andrew Odino. Sir, are you there online?
Good afternoon, Chair. This is Gian Lara Cabatana.
I'm sorry.
Good afternoon, Chair. This is Gian Lara Cabatana from Department of Budget and Management, Budget Information Legislative Service. Sir, while our position paper is still in the process of consolidation, our initial findings are as follows. First, in regards with the proposal to give priority on 3rd to 6th class municipalities in various bills, we defer to the comments of the NDRRMC and the DPWH as they are in the best position to establish the application of the process and criteria in relation to the prioritizations of the LGUs. And as to the appropriations provision, we will provide a language that the committee may adopt in the process of consolidating this various measures related to evacuation center. We will submit our position paper once it is signed by our principal. Thank you so much, Chair.
But in principle, ma'am, are you interjecting objection to House Bill number 16 in effect to all the 26 bills? in principle. Do you support?
In general, sir, we do not interpose objection
Okay.
on the matter. However, we suggest that the bills be consolidated since most of the bills have similar subject matter and so that it could be reconciled and harmonized among one another, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. With due respect to Congressman Tony, who just raised a motion earlier to approve House Bill number 16. Sir, gusto ko magsalita ng DOH. Maybe we can accommodate them before we act on your motion. Okay, thank you very much, ma'am, for your comments. DOH, Ma'am Mara, Miss Mara, please, Servania Cabillo.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. I'm online po. So apologies, I don't have any camera, but we at the Health Emergency Management Bureau supports the establishment of the evacuation center, and we pose no objection po with the bills presented po, as long as po that the previously po the provisions in the JMC number 31, Series 2013, as well as the guidelines on camp coordination and camp management and internally displaced person protection, or JMC number 2, Series 2022, all these provision will be included in the said House bills po. Thank you.
Thank you. Please submit your position paper po to the committee.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you po very much. Okay, Mahal Lagmay, are you there? Director Lagmay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, proceed po, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much po, Honorable Adyong, Congressman Adyong. We will be submitting a position paper, particularly about the hazard maps to be used for evacuation centers, especially that we have climate change problems as well that are worse than the hazards that we have experienced. So we would like to reiterate the fact, the presentation given, that we need to project hazards that are bigger than the historical record.
Okay, thank you very much for that comment. So there was an earlier motion to approve House Bill number 16 without any objection. Yeah, in consolidation with the other 25, because Congresswoman Luistro would like to deliver her sponsorship speech on her bill. So on the 25. So there was a motion, hearing no objection, the motion is approved. So okay, so Congresswoman Luistro, you're recognized. Congressman Luistro. Ma'am Jinky. Tony.
Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion that
Yes,
all 26 yes, that all the explanatory notes of all 26 bills, well, except for Congresswoman Luistro, be entered as the sponsorship speeches of each individual authors of the House bill. So this is Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, saglit lang po, Ma'am Jinky. So in the expediency of time, I believe Kong Tony will also have to leave before 3. For the expediency of time, we would simply adopt all the explanatory notes of all the 25 bills as the sponsorship speeches of all these respected all the values and different authors respectively. So no objection, motion is carried. Yes, we would like to recognize Congresswoman Luistro of the 1st District of Batangas for her sponsorship speech on House Bill number House Bill number 515. 575. Ma'am Jinky, Yes, Mr. Chair. Yes, Ma'am Jinky, you're online. Please proceed.
Yes, Mr. Chair, with all due respect, this representation is from the second district of the province of Batangas.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. You're the second district of Batangas. I'm so sorry. Apologies.
Yes.
Proceed po,
And
Ma'am
of course,
Jinky.
yes, I just wish to manifest that I concur and submit to the earlier motion of our distinguished representative. As a matter of fact, I am intending to move that the explanatory note incorporated in House Bill number 5856 be adopted as the sponsorship speech of this representation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much for that. We thought we would just give you the courtesy of delivering your sponsorship speech, but then since you just mentioned that gusto mo pala, say we will simply just adopt the explanatory note of your bill as your sponsorship speech, ma'am. Thank you very much
Yes,
for
Mr.
that.
Chair.
So not all 25, record that 25, but all the 26 House bills. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ingat po kayo.
So
Thank
we
you.
make an amendment to the motion. Okay, yeah, yes, that's already an amendment to the motion.
So is there any concern from the members who are online? None. So before I think the next part of the committee is the adjournment of the committee. So before we do that, and allow me to just thank all resource persons for coming in today, for joining us, and I again would reiterate my earlier request that your position papers will be badly needed. Hopefully you have those position papers of yours as soon as possible time so that we can, the earlier we receive your position paper, the earlier we can include them in the consolidated version substitute bill of all the 26 bills, so that we can also deliver this plenary at the committee report. Congressman Tony, would you like to?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, I would like to move this litigation.
So motion to adjourn, no objection. Meeting on subcommittee on disaster preparedness is the very adjourned. Thank you very much. Maraming salamat po. Stay safe.